What's up?
What's up, man? I love that James Massey .work.
That's it. That's it. Because we always working, right? We
Cool,
got to
man.
put it in, right? So everybody, I'm so excited here. I got Jacob Barnhill here, and he's going to be sharing some of the things that he's been able to do, keep hire wise in order to grow his real estate business, and just all around good guy. I mean, met him on out of town, and he's come down to Georgia and hung out with him and his wife, and just really connected. So I'm really excited about what he's going to be able to kind of share with everybody here. So just letting everybody know, every Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to be interviewing an agent that is crushing it in their marketplace, and they're going to be sharing what they've been able to do to grow their business. So Jacob, man, tell me a little bit, man, for the people that don't know, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I was a military kid growing up, military guy myself. I was in the Air Force active duty for 12 years, got into real estate doing wholesaling. And I was crawling under properties, putting up, the bandit "We Buy House" signs and door knocking, pre-foreclosures, all that fun stuff. And ended up coming back home with some due to family reasons. My dad got real sick, so we ended up coming back home, pulled the plug on that business, sold 26 homes our first year as real estate agents over at Keller Williams, became a trainer there. And then we've been growing every single year so far. So 46 is what we closed out last year. So I've only been a real estate agent for about 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. Yeah. Been in real estate probably close to 7, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I meet so many people, they start out doing investing first, and then they eventually get over and start getting their real estate license. Like, how has that helped you, or has it helped you rather, in making that transition?
Yeah, I found that I'm a true believer. I know a lot of investors like, should I get my license? Should I not get my license? And I asked myself that question when I first got started. But I'll say being an agent really taught me better skills because we work in the business, I think, a lot more. We have that mentality. Even I know a lot of the group that we're around, we definitely have that mentality of on the business, but a lot of agents have that in the business. And it really taught me a lot of skills in the transaction. And then I learned some higher level business planning concepts once I got introduced to our group, the honey badgers, all that stuff. And, being an investor, it was all about getting other people to do stuff, but you really get in the trenches and you learn as a real estate agent what it actually takes. And I think that has, it's provided a skill set now. And has allowed me to get in a place where I love coaching and mentoring and helping people. And now I have skill sets that I sucked at, to be straight, like when I first started, and I built those skills, and now I'm able to share those in growing our team to help the team out.
Yeah. So, all right. So, speaking of the team, so I know it's you and your wife, and y'all been just kind of building together. How did that happen? Was it always something that you like? Hey, me and my wife is gonna, create this real estate empire. How did y'all get connected and say like we're gonna work together?
Well, kind of. I think if I go all the way back, I came home from a deployment one time, and I told my wife, I was like, we're gonna do real estate, and she's like, yeah, whatever. And that's when we're getting started in wholesaling and all that stuff. And then I always joke, I've had the cheat code the whole time as an agent because I had the first bit of paperwork and it needed to be processed. I've never touched any of that stuff ever for any of my hundreds of transactions that I've done. I gave the first one to my wife. I said, I need your help. You need to do this. I've got to go do more open houses and go hustle.
Yeah. So y'all been just kind of rocking and rolling. My wife just got her license as well. So like we're kind of on that trajectory. So any tips, man, for somebody like me?
Oh man, I see a lot of people start their own companies and they want to pull in family members. And I saw a lot of people in my investor networks doing that. And I think it depends on what you want to build. To me, I never wanted to have family in there because I wanted to have the free time to go spend with family. And if I got the family in the business, it's hard to go do that. So we've always had the mentality that we were going to build this together once we got going. And we're actually working Aaron out of the business. Into December is our goal. We've got our new head administrator, our EA, taking over things. She's been here about a month and a half.
Okay. All right. Cool. I guess that's something I got to think about because
Yeah.
I'm bringing mine in. You're taking yours out. So it's
It
like,
depends on what you want to do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It gets tough sometimes. It's hard to take it home, and it goes home.
yeah,
And we've tried to set up boundaries like, hey, we can't talk about transactions. We're not talking about files. We can talk about other stuff at home with the business, but not about files.
yeah.
Don't want to know. Save it for the office.
Oh. Well, I mean, so, all right. So one of the things that I've been seeing you do, and some of the stuff you talked to me about is like making the right hires in order to grow your business. So what have you done in order to make those hires? Like whether it's inside sales agent, whether it's admin, whether it's somebody regarding that, and how has that helped in the trajectory of where you want to take your company?
Yeah, it's probably best to start where I've screwed up, because we've screwed up a lot, and I can share like what we've learned from that. And full disclosure, we're still building, but the things that I'm kind of modeling off of right now are there's a book out there called Top Grading by Brad Smart, and it talks about, and go look up. He's got a story in there about Mint. The company Mint, the app, the
Yeah.
money app,
Mm-hmm.
and look how fast they grew. They used the concepts that are in Top Grading. So Top Grading is a hiring process, and then the Entrepreneurial Operating System (EOS), if anybody's familiar with Gino Wickman, and I really picked that up when I got involved with John Kitchens, my coach, and all of that. And we're getting super clear on the EOS process, and that's how to manage and actually get traction in the business, right, and have accountability and clear cut lines for all your people. And then there's the management aspect, and I'm really kind of modeling the 1 Minute Manager. It's a great book, super short, story based, and it pretty much gives a very simple framework of how to manage people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've screwed those three things up a lot, and the biggest thing that I can say that's helped as far as the hiring process, I think everybody goes through, let's just get them in, you know what I mean, and then get some agents in, get an admin, anybody that wants to help, but having people that really fit the culture. I personally have screwed up a lot with making sure that we were clear. It's clear in my head, right? But it's different if you don't have it clear to them. You might say it, but then you're left into that death cycle of you got to say it 15 times before they get it. And the chances of them getting it, and actually carrying out those plans, you can really shrink time when you give those clear expectations. Now we're even giving clearer expectations. I just mentioned to you about the mentorship program we're doing. We don't even allow them to come into the mentorship program where we'll train up ISAs essentially and agents if they want to continue moving up. But if they don't pick up the phone, we have a whole process. It's like you're not going to get in our world if you don't pick up the phone for a week solid. You got to make $750. I don't care what your God-given ability is. Like, you just have to do dials for a week. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I just don't care about anything else unless you can pick up the phone.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, basically what you're establishing is work ethic. You can teach skills and
Yep.
you can help people with that part of it, but if that work ethic's not there, it's not going to work anyway.
Yep. So everything that we do now is trying to flush that out as quickly as possible. So little things that we'll do in the hiring process, like, for example, if you're hiring an administrator, in the hiring process, you could give them a task to go do something administrative, like some things that are similar to what they'll be doing, like give them go find 3 CPAs in the area. Not that you're going to change your CPA, but just say, go find 3 CPAs and then give me what you liked about them and why you would want them for the company that you work for, right? And see what they do. Do they actually get back? Are they getting the work done? Did they get it done on time when you ask them to get it done by, right? Just hitting them with, my coach hits me with this now all the time, and it's just like ingrained in my brain. What do you want done? Clearly, when do you want it done by? And then how do I know you have it done?
Yeah. Man, that's pretty good, man, because the time and the energy it takes to bring somebody on board, try to get them trained up, and if they turn out not to be the right person or not the right fit, I mean, it's a letdown, right? Because now you
Huge.
got to go and start that whole process over. I think that's why a lot of people they end up just trying to doing everything themselves because they're just so frustrated because they made a hire that was the wrong hire, and they end
Yeah.
up doing more work than less work, right?
Yeah. The top grading actually talks about the millions that CEOs spend when you look at the cost of a mishire. It's insane. There's actually a calculator that they give you, I think, on their website for free. It's insane. The cost, right? That all the opportunity cost, the time cost, the cost of the right hire cost, like they add up all these costs, and you're just like, oh man, it's bad.
Yeah. All right, so you're giving them tasks before you hire them that
Yeah.
kind of like try to weed out the ones that will do the task and won't do the task. Like what about are you putting anything down on paper, like identifying what's considered a win for that particular hire, what the roles are? Like can you describe that a little bit?
So once they're on the team, is that
Well, actually, before they're on the team, and then obviously once they're on the team, just kind of you got to give that information to them to make sure they're clear.
Yeah, so I'll hit on the agents and what that looks like right now. We have established goals for the team that we want to help you identify your first client in the first 30 days. We don't consider you onboarded actually until we help you find your first recruit and your first client, right? And identified at least in the first 30 days, right? So that's not a closing. That's not recruit over to EXP. And I'm flexible. And everybody wants to, do any recruiting, but we have it set up where we're really helping our guys out doing a lot of this stuff. And if they want to take advantage of it, that's what we consider a fully onboarded member. They've gone through their first 30-day tasks and they're consistently making their dials. You back that up to their first week. They don't even start their first week until they go through their first day. And it's very similar to our mentorship program. You have to show up day one. You've gone through our top grading hiring process, right? And now you owe us and we signed all your documents and everything we needed at the final interview and all that stuff. And then day one, you're not really starting on a team until you show up now. And they pick their day. They're going to pick their day, right? So it's all on them. Your first day, you're going to come in and you're going to make 500 dials your first day, and you got to show up with at least 200 people to add to your database with just one way to contact them. So you got to go talk to mom, get her Rolodex. You got to go in your phones, old email accounts. We give them like ways they can go scrub LinkedIn, Facebook, all of this other stuff, but they got to go figure out 200 contacts. If you don't show up, and we have a system for them to go do that, that's their one thing they owe us. If they show up day one without that, they don't join the team. Right. So first bit of accountability. Second bit, you got to pick up the phone. We're gonna lift 1,000 pounds your first day, and then your second day, you're gonna go and just lift maybe 500 or 250 pounds, right? And then they just start to get into that rhythm with us. So that's kind of the first day. The first 30 days kind of re-engineered for an agent.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you're talking about that and you're kind of going over that whole plan. I mean, I know some people hearing this like, oh my God, that's a whole lot, right? It's like, man, they have to do all that just to be part of the team. But really, what you're doing, you're really helping the agent to, like you said, to get a routine, to get a structure, because a lot of times the ones that don't be successful are the ones that don't have that. They might have came from a job or something like that where structure was just already there. But in this industry, you don't normally have somebody that's saying, "Hey, go pick up that phone and make that call. Hey, go ahead and meet that client."
Right.
It's all within yourself that you got to figure out. So, but you're adding that, and also, the agents that are creative, the agents that are motivated, those are going to be the ones to rise to the top, and that's who you want to work with anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we bring them in-house, that's 100%. And when we bring them in-house and we're pouring in all these resources and everything, and they come in and everybody wants to make money, but you look at the alternative to that and you let agents come in your world and all the resources and the time that you spend with people, and it takes 30, 60, 90 days or 6 months to figure out that they're not going to work out. They're not being accountable. They're not showing up. you're going to be able to flesh that out real fast, right? And maybe life happens and there's some really, extenuating circumstances. You have a little one-on-one with them or whatever and figure out what's going on. But more often than not, we're fleshing out the crap, right, before they come in our world, and we're having to spend a bunch of time and money and resources, right? We're going to give them everything, right? But we're not going to do that until they show us that they'll show up.
Yeah. You show me you can show up, and then I got your back 100% after that, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't want to need people more than they need me. I don't want to want it more than they do. They got to show me that they want it.
Yep. A lot easier at that point. So, all right. So you mentioned like some of the systems that you got in place. Because when there's somebody Agent Jones on board, you're open up all the systems and the process and things of that nature. I assume there's admin staff and that's helping, transaction coordinators, things of that nature, right? So, so finding somebody like that, because let me ask you this question rather. What is the first key hire for a single agent that's looking? They're obviously getting more business. They're kind of getting overwhelmed a little bit. What's the first key hire that you suggest that they should be looking for?
Dude, absolutely, 100%. You got to get an admin, right? Depends on what level of business that you're doing. If you're a solo agent, I've seen the extreme case. If you're doing like 70 solo, and maybe you have like a based on a closing TC where you just pay them every time you have a closing and that's it, right? And that's that TC's business working for many agents, right? That might work for a while, but but most people, like I did 26 my first year, that would be time. And then we were growing every year after that. That would be the time to get a full-time TC, right? So you need an admin at some level. It just depends on exactly where you're at and what type of crush it level you're at when you're by yourself and you're trying to pull that first person on. And I've seen people some luck out and they get that. I saw as an EXP agent, and she found someone who was starting her own TC business at the same time she needed an executive admin, and those two got together, man, and it was freaking nuts. They blew it up. They're in two different markets now. She got her license later than I did. She's in two different markets now, and both of those locations are doing hundreds of transactions. She blew it up.
Yeah,
so that's what can happen.
Man, what I've always done is I try to hire two people, right? When that comes through. So like my first hire was admin. It was an admin part time, then another admin part time, and I kind of like to work both of them because you're putting into one, and if that one doesn't go or doesn't work out, then you got to start back over from scratch, and you're losing time. So just having two of them at a time and being able to see which one works the best, promising them, the one, that they're going to have full-time positions, that seems to speed up that process a little faster for me. How has that been? Because I know you've been hiring ISAs as well. And how has that been for you with the ISAs? Are you down that same process? Or are you hiring one at a time? And for those who don't know, ISA means inside sales agent. Those are the ones that's calling booking the appointments.
Yeah, we failed big time at the ISA, man. I've been through about 3 or 4 different certification programs trying to learn what we need to do better. And it comes down to the same stuff I was mentioning with those 3 books earlier. Is you got to be clear up front. I've had some ISAs. I've hired a ISA. My one I was most excited about, she came from a car dealership, and she was doing very well. She was in the top percentage. She wasn't the top person, but she was up there, in the top 5 or whatever, 10 at her company. And, things went a lot slower than I wanted them to do. And our quality too, you got to keep that in mind. Your quality for an ISA, the quality of lead that we're setting a fully pre-qualified seller or buyer appointment. And we're focused on sellers, and sellers are a little bit more difficult and a lot of times a longer conversion as well. And pretty much what she was setting was people to come in and look at cars, right? That's what she was doing. What we were doing is we wanted decision makers that had motivation and a timeline, and all of the questions were asked, right, before we show up, right? All the hard ones, and every other one in between. And she even told me one time, she's like, "This is work. like real work. She told me, right? And she ended up just, bowing out. It was just not, it was too much for her. But again, it could have been clearer on expectations with all of that too. But now I know. Another mistake we've made. I like sharing mistakes if that's okay.
No,
We've screwed up a
that's
lot of
the best
stuff,
way to learn, man.
but we've learned a lot of stuff. So me and one of my other gals on the team identified with our most recent ISA who started earlier this year, beginning of the year. She was taking a downgrade in pay. Don't do that. Don't do that. She was taking, and she wanted to get into real estate full time, but she was taking like half, and she could float it for a while. But we were very clear with her, and we identified that she was taking a downgrade in pay. She was getting less pay with us to start. Right, the opportunity was greater with us, way larger. Right, double, over double what she was making, but she was making to start half. That's all that we could afford. That's what the position warrants, right? She's got to make progress. So, and she'd had prior ISA experience. She's not coming hot off the phones from the previous job. But so the two mistakes: we knew she was impatient. She wanted results really fast, right? When we identified that through our DISC profile and asking her questions, we knew she was taking a downgrade in pay. So we got really clear with her, and we told her at the final interview, before we sign this paperwork, this is what your business plan will look like. This is what you have to do. This is what your days are going to look like. This is everything, right? And even doing all of that, she got on the phones. The first day we had her on the phone, she set a listing appointment, and we took that listing, and she quit that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's like, this doesn't line up with what I want to do.
Yeah.
Impatient, downgraded pay. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, because we covered all our bases. We did everything right except that. We shouldn't have done that. She wanted it, but she wanted something that it wasn't really what she wanted, if that makes sense. Right? Yeah. So learn from that one. Don't do that. Man, if I was to make the next ISA, what I would do, we've shut down the ISA program for now, and I've gone through, I don't know, probably close to 12 plus people that I've had on the phones over the last 3 years. And, all the mistakes that I've mentioned before, but knowing what I know now, what I would do is I would find someone who is on that upswing and progression in a phone based, industry, and either from a car dealership, because we can teach that skill, right, and find that right culture fit, or Spectrum or one of the cable companies or something like that, right? I want to find somebody who's coming hot off the phones, and usually with an ISA in real estate, you're providing a bigger opportunity than almost every other industry from what I know. Most of the other industries are not paying what you could pay an ISA, so usually the opportunity is greater. You just got to find those right people that are working the phones hot, have a track record of success, they fit your culture, and give them that opportunity to come over, right? And be clear with that business plan. Do that business plan with them at that final interview before you sign that paperwork, and make sure that they're okay with it. And then look them in the eye and ask them again, are you sure? Right? I want to ask those questions about, what they're making now. I want to know all that stuff. And Top Grading has a really good, it's called a career history form. And the career history form gives you everything that you need. The gaps, the career progression, right? The gaps in the job, all of that stuff. I have everybody fill it out. I don't want your resume. Don't care. Yeah. You're going to fill out my career history form.
Man, I mean, it's funny that you're talking about that, about the switching over from the ISA, because, what I found is a lot of teams right now, they're pretty much putting it back on the agent in order to make those phone calls and, to book appointments and set everything up. Even, John, I was talking to John as well, and he was telling us, the ISA is really just for your production. It's not necessarily the agent's production. So, I can see the direction that you're headed, one by the hoops they have to jump through. I'm talking about the agent, in order to be on your team, because you're setting it up for them to be successful rather for them to actually have an ISA to book an appointment, where, like I said, the ISA is really supposed to be for you anyway. So, so I've a lot of big teams are doing that right now. So I definitely see the direction that you're headed for. So, man, that's great, man. So tell me, like, I know we said first hire is going to be an admin. All
Yep.
right. And you know, that was like one of the big things and having a transaction coordinator and things of that nature. Um,
Yep.
what kind of stop gaps that you put in place for that transaction coordinator to do kind of like how you were saying the you know, before they actually get hired, like what's some of the things you're doing for that transaction coordinator that you're giving them assignments early on?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything administrative. So, any kind of correspondence. Another thing that we are doing, I like to know the admins. We don't have this fully rolled out, but the admins should have some level of sales knowledge,
Hmm.
right? So, what we're going to start working on soon, when we have more TCs, is we're actually going to make them go through the onboarding like an agent would go through, so they can learn the fundamentals of sales language, so that they can, because part of their accountability is to get transactions closed and closed on time,
Yeah.
right? So, they got to be good with people, and if they're saying the wrong thing, it's an element of sales, right? And they get these bonuses based on that. So we want to teach them that. So one of the things we'll have the admins do is leave a voicemail. Why do you want to join the team, right? And you can tell, like, it's, we're not disqualifying anybody for disc profiles or little things in career history forms, or they didn't sound like they had a lot of energy on the voicemail, but we can add all of these data points together, and then when we ask them questions when we're sitting with them, we can get a much better idea of who they're likely going to be. And you do your reference checks, and you do your reference checks,
Hey, you do your reference
and you do
checks.
your reference checks correctly. But top grading, again, top grading is an amazing tool. But yeah, leaving voicemails
Yeah.
isn't one of the simple ones.
So like, you know, because I know you mentioned the disc profile a couple of times now, and you know, for those who don't know, disc profile is personality tested that, you know, that we do to determine, you know, where you kind of fall most likely in the spectrum. But like, how closely are you you know, using that disc and making that final decision if you're going to bring that person on board or not?
It's a right butt, right seat thing. It's not the majority of the weight, but it carries a lot. And then one of the things I like to do is verify the disc too, right? When I have them in my physical world, when we're doing the interview process, does this person, because it's rare, and I usually will preface it when I have them fill it out, be as completely honest as you can. This is a result of your smooth and efficient onboarding process to make sure that we have a career that we know you'll like, something to that effect, right? So be as honest as you can, and I put that like in an email that goes out for the disc, but I'll verify it in the interview. um, and yeah, and we get a good feel. We actually do a in-person interview. We'll usually do a group interview. We'll invite them to one of our events or team days or something, and then we'll do a final interview. And that is, we've already done the reference checks in there too. So we've gotten a pretty good feel of who we think they are, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, I definitely appreciate you just opening up and just kind of sharing your business and some of the things that you've been able to do. Some of the mess ups, like we all, you know, we
Oh,
all have those mess ups starting up. So,
I've messed it up more than I've made success out of it. That's for
hey,
sure.
hey, well, I mean that's the learning process. You know, I always say like, let's go mess up some stuff till we figure it out. You know, so
Yeah.
I know that's what you've been doing. I mean, it's a reason why you all are growing and have grown over the years. And man, I just appreciate your friendship and everything, man.
Yeah, man. Look forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Vegas, man. Hey, we're gonna have a good time out there. So once again, like we're doing this every Thursday at 11 o'clock, interviewing an agent that's killing it within their market. But you didn't even tell where you what market you're in, man.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. So anybody looking to purchase a home or Columbia, South Carolina, Jacob's the guy that you can go to. So yeah, but like I said, every Thursday at 11 o'clock. If you want to know more about what partnership look like, within our group, you can go to jameshmassey.com and schedule a call with me, or you can just watch one of the videos to see exactly what it is that we're doing here. So once again, Jacob, I appreciate you, man, and I'm looking forward to see you in Vegas, man.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Peace.